Hi, everybody. I was going to go to bed, but then I felt the Lord prompting me to share just a tidbit about discernment. It has to do with the lack of discernment in the church right now, because there's an awful lot of mixture going on, a lot of what is called syncretism, where people mix witchcraft with Christianity. And where even warlocks and witches have gotten into positions in the church. And I've seen this before a lot of times in the past. When I was going to Vineyard, there used to be these three that would come in, a man and two women, who was a warlock and two witches. And you would notice during worship they can't worship. And the thing is that these days, nobody wants to hear anything negative because that's sort of a new age thing, I mean, it is a biblical principle that we should focus on all that is good. But that's not the only principle that's in the Bible in terms of exposing the darkness, okay? God said to expose the darkness. So the thing is that there's a lot of people walking around who pretend to be doing what is right, but in hiddenness, they're doing a lot of things that are really evil, and people don't think that they could be doing that, because people always want to think the best of others and of pastors and all that, because we have tendency in the church to idolize pastors and people in authority. But the thing is, there's a lot of this syncretism going on. And so I wanted to share this incident that happened years ago where the Lord showed me, two incidents, how the spirit of the enemy can masquerade as Holy Spirit. Okay, one incident, I had a couple living with me for 3 months who were from back east, and her father was a high-level warlock, high priest in Satanism, and she came with her boyfriend and got married here in California in a Vineyard church that I was attending, and their car had broken down when they came, and I met them in a prayer meeting and offered to house them for a time so they could get back, on their feet again. And so she went through some deliverance there, and at that time the Lord had me do a 30-day fast for her, and also for my own, edification. But it was so that she could get some, serious deliverance. At any rate, at one point during their time there, after they were married, I believe it was, her father, they had not let him know, apparently, what was going on, but somehow he found out that they were out here, and he flew out here from the East Coast, and he went straight to a certain church here, and they freely gave him my phone number without calling me, without asking me. He was in a 3-piece suit, looked wealthy, and he certainly was, because he was the head of IBM for years, and at that point had become the CEO for Western Union. Well, here he is confronting his daughter about, coming out here and not letting him know, and all of this, and how worried he was or whatever. She had memories of seeing children in cages when she was a little girl. So I'm talking about serious high-level Satanism. And here he was with his 3-piece suit and his very his very presence seemed so innocuous. I mean, you couldn't feel anything demonically. And the Lord showed me that there are protector demons that try to shield those that are in high-level positions from being discerned. And that the normal, discernment that you might have about certain people can be masked, by the enemy to try and get you off keel. But it didn't there was still this pit in my stomach from meeting him. So what I'm saying basically is, you can think that you have good discernment and that somebody is an okay person, but they can be absolutely reprobate in their hearts and you not know it. And the thing is, the church needs to admit that we don't know everything, and that we need to seek God for his opinion on these things and not just rely on our instincts per se about individuals. Everything needs to be bathed in prayer and worship so that we get the right information from the Lord. There was another time, I don't know exactly when this was, or around that time in the 90s, that when revival started, that I went into Santa Ana with a friend, and we were looking for a certain bookstore, and as we were walking by this theater, this old theater there, we felt drawn, and so we heard it was like a church in there, and we felt drawn to go in, and so we went in and we sat there for a while and listened, and it looked like, because it was in Spanish, I didn't understand everything, but I could tell they were giving testimonies about healings. And I thought that was pretty awesome, and it felt very much like Holy Spirit. But when I went up at the end to ask the pastor if they had, I was kind of excited because, a lot of the people in my neighborhood were very needy and working poor, and so I was asking him if there was any help, if they had any help for the people here who needed like food or help financially with a bill or something, and it's like he wanted to have nothing to do with me, and it wasn't just my physical presence, it was spiritual, just like he couldn't even look me in the eye. And that's why I suspect, because I used to go to the jail, and the people who couldn't look you in the eye were possessed. So at any rate, I found out afterwards that this guy had been exposed on Spanish TV, this particular church, for just taking money from people, and they sent it back to Brazil. The guy was actually Brazilian, but spoke Spanish, and so was using the people, basically. And that taught me a lesson about how things can feel like one thing, but be entirely different from God. So keep your ears up, and keep your heart, in the Lord, and always seek his opinion on things so that you'll know when something's not right. If you sense that something's not right, then take it to him so that he can guide you and give you revelation about what's really going on. And that's all I wanted to say. God bless you.